All right, guys, so we're heading over to the dyno today. Gonna go over to SMG Motoring in Menden. We're probably just gonna make about 2 pulls. We're not gonna do any tuning. For me, the dyno is just for fun. See what it puts down, get a little data, see where the peak power is, see if we're actually floating valves. If there's any tune-up stuff like jet change or anything like that, timing, we can do that at the track, try to pick up mile per hour, which I already did with the timing earlier this year where we got the 117, we dropped the timing down. If you haven't watched any of the previous videos before we head to the dyno, here's a quick rundown on the combo. All right, so we have a stock short block 302 out of an Explorer, Steph's aluminum pan, custom hydraulic roller from Ed at Flowtech Induction, lifts a little over 600 on intake exhaust. Duration at 50 is 220s, exhaust is 230s. Trick flow 190 11R's, 56 cc chamber. They are the street port. 1.6 roller rockers. Victor Jr. intake, Holley 650 HP. I did make a slight jet change since the last time at the track. It was running a little rich, so we fixed that. We have a small crank pulley, no power steering or anything, electric fan, aluminum flywheel, aluminum drive shaft through a T5, 9-inch with 430s and a locker. Exhaust is 1 5/8 headers to a 3-inch aluminum X-pipe and mufflers from Harm dumped at the axle. MSD ignition, and I think that's about it. All right, so we head over the dyno. If I had to make a guess, based on other combos like this and the weight of the car and the mile per hour, I'm thinking it should be around 370, maybe 375. We'll see what it does. So let's go. All right, guys, so back from the dyno. I am super pumped. The car exceeded my expectations. It made over 400 wheel. So there's definitely a lot more in it in ET. So we're gonna figure all that out. Let's take a look at the graphs. All right, so my boy Fred at SMG hooked me up with 3 printouts today, just because there's always a bunch of naysayers on the internet and complain about what correction factors used. So we have uncorrected, we have standard, and we have SAE. First one we'll go through, uncorrected. Made 415 and 372, and it peaked out around 6,250, 6,300, and torque was like 5,100. My air fuel is still trash. I thought it was rich, it still is. I just got the my AFR gauge just hooked back up and working earlier this week. I took some jet out before the dyno, but we're at 11.5 pretty much through the whole range. So we'll take some more jet out of the secondaries before we head back to the track. Here's your standard. I'll put a picture in from the dyno with the weather conditions. You see the standard numbers and the uncorrected are pretty close. So the weather was pretty good. It was pretty dialed with the standard correction factor. So 415, 431, obviously these are all the same run, just using the different correction factors. And then here's one that's really popular is the SAE Smoothing 5. And we're at 401 still and 360. So that is super impressive in my book for a stock short block 302 heads cam. Making torque all the way up over 5,000. I think this is pretty sweet. We got some good potential here, I think. And this dyno sheet was from last year with the GT40Ys that I had ported with a ported air gap dual plane and the Summit F303 Plus. So we picked up, if we do standard versus standard, we are at 60 horse, right? So that's a pretty solid game for heads and cam, I think, and oil pan, I guess, if you want to count that. All right, so that's going to wrap it up on the dyno video. We'll hopefully get back to the track in a couple weeks. Going to take some jet out of the secondary and see if we can bang out a personal best. Thanks for watching. Later.